Good Day Atlanta at 8 a.m.
The manhunt is on for the suspect wanted for shooting and killing a man at a home in Conyers. The reward that's now being offered for his arrest.
And beware of fake arrest warrants. That's the new warning from Peachtree City Police. It's the latest way scammers are trying to get your money.
Good morning, everyone. Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Good Day Atlanta at 8. I'm Buck Lanford.
And I'm Alex Whitler. Wednesday is always a good day around here.
Well, and especially today when you look at what's coming tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Joanne, that's your cue. Take it away.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Do we have to? Yeah, we're going to have some big changes here in our weather in the next 24 hours. Already some changes this morning, but I would say this map is a little deceptive because it makes it look like it's really wet outside when the reality is the air is still really dry at the surface. So a lot of what you're seeing there is evaporating before it gets to the ground. That's one system that's passing by to our south. This next one is the cold front that's going to completely reverse our weather in the next 24 hours. But in the meantime, maybe some of this, especially outlined in yellow or orange, is actually making it to the ground in the form of some light rain. Where it's not raining, it's going to be mostly cloudy. We'll gradually move the temperatures into the 50s, and then that cold front I pointed out will start to increase showers later this afternoon. It's where it changes over to snow by this evening. Well, in the mountains, that's what's going to happen, and you might even get some light accumulations out of this tonight. The bigger change, though, will be the windy and colder weather, and I'm going to show you how drastic that change will be between now and this time tomorrow, coming up for you in your 7-day forecast in a few minutes. Natalie?
Joanne, thank you. We do have a crash in Gwinnett County this morning on 85 southbound right before Beaver Ruin Road, holding up that far HOV lane on the left-hand side. And the crash on the south side perimeter in Clayton County, 285 eastbound at Riverdale Road. This one is still blocking a right lane. We're seeing delays coming in from 85. In College Park this morning, 285 southbound, that exit to 85, that's exit 61, is back open. A driver of an SUV hit the poles holding up that overhead signage. They had to remove it, but again, that exit ramp is back open. Buck?
Natalie, thank you. New this morning, a 16-year-old is dead after a shooting last night in northwest Atlanta.
I hate to report this. Police say the teen was shot on Furno Drive, and he then took himself to a fire station 3 miles away on Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway. Apparently, he was trying to get himself some help. Good Day's Mark Teichner is live with more. Mark.
Yeah, good morning. Unfortunately, that help was not able to get there in time, and that 16-year-old died in front of that fire station. Crime scene tape surrounds the victim's car in front of Atlanta Fire Station 38. Police tell us the 16-year-old was gunned down around 10:50 Tuesday night in the 1500 block of northwest Atlanta's Furno Drive. At this point, no information has been released about the shooting, including a possible motive or if the deadly shots were fired in a house or on the street. Investigators say after getting shot, the teenager drove himself about 3 miles to the fire station, which is located on Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway. They think he went there looking for help. Sadly, when officers arrived, the teen was unresponsive and ended up dying in the car. We saw police search a couple of northwest Atlanta homes during the overnight hours. They confirmed those searches were in connection to the teenager's murder, but couldn't say what, if anything, was found. Nor do we know if any arrests have been made or if police have a suspect description. Family members of that teenager showed up at the fire station while police were processing that scene. As you can imagine, those folks were very emotional. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Mark Teichner for Good Day Atlanta.
Another life lost way too soon. Mark, thank you. It's 8:04 now, and we have an alert that's been issued in the metro area for an accused killer. Earlier this morning, police named a suspect in a deadly shooting in a Conyers neighborhood.
Yeah, and Good Day's Caitlin Pratt is live in Conyers this morning with the latest information from police. Caitlin, good morning.
Good morning to you both, and they've offered a reward for information leading to his arrest, $5,000. They caution, though, he is considered dangerous. So who are we talking about here? authorities have identified him as Amir Johnson, 21 years old. They released a picture to Fox 5 early this morning. Now, the crime in question that he's accused in happened last night, just before 9 o'clock here in Conyers on Forest Villa Drive. Now, investigators tell us that when they arrived to a gunfire call, they discovered a person who had been shot multiple times. Well, that person did not survive his bullet wounds and died there at that scene. Detectives, crime scene techs moved in, collected clues as police worked to figure out who was responsible. They say they know Johnson, and they're looking for him now both in Conyers and in Covington as well. They again say he may be considered armed, dangerous, so do not approach, but go ahead and contact police if you know where he may be. He, at last sighting, was wearing all black, was not in a vehicle, ran away from that scene in Conyers. That's where we're live this morning outside the police department. I'm Caitlin Pratt for Good Day Atlanta.
All right, Caitlin, thank you for the latest from there. Now, a warning this morning from Peachtree City Police. There's a new fake arrest warrant scam going around, and it can seem pretty legit. Several people told police they got a call from someone claiming to be a federal agent and or law enforcement. Some scammers even made fake documents. But here's the catch. Scammers ask for you to pay over the phone. There's your clue. Police say if anyone asks for you to pay them over the phone, hang up.
It's 8:06 now, and over in Cobb County, Addison Elementary School Principal Jill Spiva has been charged with DUI after crashing less than a mile away from her school. According to the police report, the wreck happened at the intersection of Ebenezer Road and Sandy Plains Road. This was Thursday, and officers found an open bottle of vodka in her car. Spiva was arrested and charged with DUI, open container, and a lane violation. Cobb County schools say they are aware of this incident, but they did note that it happened after school hours and technically off of school property. Well, new this morning, the state agriculture department confirms a case of highly contagious avian flu at a commercial poultry operation. It's in Walker County. It's the first case this year and the fourth in Georgia since the nationwide outbreak started back in 2022. The facility has more than 70,000 chickens. It'll be cleaned and disinfected, and all other commercial poultry operations within 6 miles are under quarantine and will undergo testing. Avian flu can wipe out entire flocks within just days. Poultry is Georgia's top industry.
Going through the accident, it felt like a why me type of situation, like I don't deserve it. But at the same time, I had to accept the situation for what it is. And in my journey moving forward, I know that it's going to be a testimony.
Rookie DeKalb County firefighter Ebony Kennedy lost her leg responding to a fire call last month. But now she's out of rehab after the amputation. Therapists tell us that she put in weeks of hard work at Shepherd Center, and we'll have more on her story coming up in our next half hour. It's 8:08. Unrest continues to grow in Minnesota as protesters and immigration agents face off a week after the death of Renee Nicole Good. How the Justice Department is responding.
President Trump now backing protesters in Iran. I'm Doug Luzader in Washington. We'll have more on that and the prospects for regime change there coming up.
And a few showers developing this morning. While we're tracking just light rain today for the mountains, there'll be a period of snow tonight. Talking about the wintry changes and how much colder that's going to mean it gets for all of us coming up.
What's trending?
President Trump is telling Iranian protesters that help is on the way.
He's encouraging them to keep up the pressure on the government there.
Yeah, and as Fox's Doug Luzader reports from Washington this morning, this could be a turning point for Iran.
There are new threats from the Iranian government this morning against protesters, but we could be coming up on the moment that many in Iran have been waiting for, and U.S. support could be a critical factor. In Iran, the protests and the price. A makeshift morgue as the death toll mounts. And now Iran's judiciary chief is promising quick trials and executions for those arrested.
And by the way, to all Iranian patriots, keep protesting.
President Trump yesterday in Detroit to focus on the economy, but talking about Iran too. Just hours earlier, as administration officials debated strategy at the White House, the president posted this. I have canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on its way. It isn't clear if that help will come from the Pentagon or in other kinds of support for the protesters, but the president promised justice.
I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price.
I think we need to take care to make sure that we don't overstep our boundaries.
There's some concern on Capitol Hill about the unintended consequences if the regime, in fact, falls.
We have come to the point where people are just fed up with this regime.
Iran's exiled crown prince, who fled the country nearly 50 years ago as the '79 revolution took hold, says a new government could rise.
There are lawyers, experts, economists, university people. We're talking about a very strong polity that despite this regime have been able to survive all these years, and they need to step in to fill the void.
But therein lies the risk. We don't really know what kind of government would fill the enormous vacuum left behind if the regime there collapses. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug, thank you. It's 8:13 now, and demonstrators quickly took to the streets in Minneapolis after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good. Now, a week later, there's still unrest all across the city, and at the same time, tensions are building in the nation's capital. Local and federal officials are challenging each other over how effective immigration operations have been in Minnesota. Some Democrats have pushed for charges in the case, but the Justice Department came out and said it doesn't believe there's any basis to open a civil rights investigation. An Associated Press report says the department's Civil Rights Division was informed it will not be involved in the investigation. And yesterday, Tuesday, multiple prosecutors resigned from the local U.S. Attorney's Office, citing concerns over the investigation into Renee Good's death.
We should not continue to fund agencies that operate with impunity.
Our ICE operation in Minnesota, for example, is finding hundreds of killers, violent predators.
Over on Capitol Hill, members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus said they won't vote for any funding bill supporting immigration enforcement. The FBI is still investigating to determine whether the ICE agent acted in self-defense, but many people are now calling for President Trump to end his immigration crackdown.
Former President Bill Clinton skipped his scheduled deposition with the House Oversight Committee despite being under federal subpoena related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. No Democrats on the committee attended either, sparking criticism from both sides. Republicans and some Democrats say everyone should be held accountable and that the proceedings should be public.
They in there. Anybody else in America would be shamed to the point of coming in, but the Clintons have just been given they're just given a pass.
No matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should show up. Everything should be public.
Today, the House is set to vote on holding former President Clinton in contempt of Congress for failing to appear. Now, if it passes, it would head to the Justice Department for prosecution by Attorney General Pam Bondi. Joanne?
Back here at 8:15, we've got a lot of change to talk about in the next 24 hours. Let's start with our weather conditions right now and the view outside over in Hampton as we're looking at the Speedway there. I was looking at this a little earlier and I could see a few raindrops on the lens of the camera, but it doesn't look incredibly soggy despite the fact that the radar has brought what looks like more substantial rain through the area. And that's an important thing to note. If you're looking at a radar, maybe on your weather app, for instance, it's not really telling the whole story just yet because of this right here. When the dew point is that low and that much lower than the actual air temperature, that means the air is really dry. So it's been trying to fall as rain. A lot of it's been evaporating so far. We're obviously getting some cases where that's not the case. We've got cloudy skies otherwise, and we'll be tracking some more possibilities of rain later today because it's actually two different weather systems that we're watching. This first one is moving closer to the Gulf Coast, and it's going to direct the more significant rain over middle Georgia. And yet there have been a few patches of light rain or drizzle that have lifted in our direction regardless. This is the more significant weather system, this cold front, and significant in the change that it's going to produce. Not so much because it's a big rainmaker, but it's going to bring significantly colder air, windier conditions tomorrow, and cool us down fast enough tonight that in the mountains you could get a brief period of snow. So outside of that, we've got mostly 40s. It is below freezing in Blairsville right now at 31, but we'll start rising through the 50s with some showers possible this morning, a little break, and then the rain chances will rise again later this afternoon. The chance of rain this afternoon is going to be higher in the spots that are really getting skipped by the rain this morning, because you'll see that cold front approaching us with rainfall amounts probably on the order of less than 1/10 of an inch where we get rain. Some of you may get no rain at all. Rain was never going to be the headline with this cold front, but it'll be how rapidly things change this evening, and that will include that maybe rain-snow mix changing over to snow in the higher elevations with a dusting of snow in some of those spots, and then a clearing sky tonight, which is going to be replaced with cold conditions and windy conditions too. It's going to stay blustery and really cold all day tomorrow. 26, it's going to feel a lot colder than that tomorrow morning. The wind is going to take the wind chill down into the single digits and teens, which is where we're going to spend most of tomorrow. The high only 38, but at the best, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s. We will turn it around to at least 40s for highs starting Friday and going through the holiday weekend. Natalie?
Joanne, thank you. We have a crash that's clear now in Gwinnett County on 85 southbound right before Beaver Ruin. It was holding up that left lane. It is now out of the way. Those delays should be easing up. And if you're traveling along the south side perimeter in Clayton County, 285 eastbound at Riverdale Road, we had a crash, but that right lane is back open, and those delays are getting lighter as we speak. If you're headed along the east wall northbound from I-20 to 85, about 37 minutes. Buck?
Natalie, thank you. 8:18 is now your time, and coming up on Good Day Atlanta, Fox 5 is your home for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We are live from Kansas City with a preview on how they're gearing up for the big event.
And the Olympics in Los Angeles may still be 3 years away, but it'll fly by. And today is the first chance to score your tickets. We'll tell you how.
You can listen to Fox 5 live on the Fox 5 Radio 1 network. Just tune your HD radio to 107.9 HD2 FM.